When I first met Danny, he seemed normal enough. Quiet, polite, and most importantly, he didn't seem like the type to throw wild parties. He even had a cat, Snickers. What's more harmless than a guy with a cat? But within a month of moving in together, I realized I'd made a big mistake. It started with Snickers disappearing. One evening, Danny frantically knocked on my door, asking if I'd seen him. I hadn't, and we tore the apartment apart looking for the cat. Nothing. Danny started pacing, muttering to himself. "I know it's here," he whispered. "What's here?" I asked. Danny froze, and then brushed me off. "Nothing. Forget it." I assumed Snickers had somehow slipped out the door, but Danny was convinced otherwise. He put up posters around the neighborhood. They weren't normal missing cat posters, though. They read, "If you took Snickers, return him now. You know who you are." It was unsettling, but I figured he was just stressed. Everyone reacts differently when a pet goes missing, right? About a week later, the apartment started to stink. At first, I thought it was the trash, but no matter how much I cleaned, the smell only got worse. It was strongest near Danny's room. When I brought it up, Danny shrugged. "It'll go away." It didn't. The smell got so bad I couldn't sleep. Then one night, I woke up to scratching noises. They were faint but unmistakable, coming from Danny's room. The next morning, I decided I couldn't ignore it anymore. While Danny was at work, I snuck into his room. The room was surprisingly tidy, but the smell was overwhelming. It was strongest near the closet. When I opened it, I found a small locked box on the floor. The odor was unbearable, and flies buzzed around it. I pried the box open with a screwdriver. Inside was a plastic bag filled with rotting meat. Stuck to the edges of the bag were tufts of fur. At the bottom of the box was Snickers' collar. I stumbled back, gagging. My mind raced. Was this some kind of sick joke? Did Danny kill his own cat? When Danny got home, I confronted him. He didn't seem surprised. "It's not what you think," he said, his tone calm but unnerving. "It's bait." "Bait for what?" I demanded. Danny smiled, a slow, creepy smile that made my skin crawl. "It's here," he said. "It's been watching us ever since Snickers disappeared." I didn't know what to say. Danny refused to explain further, retreating to his room. That night I heard the scratching again. Only this time, it wasn't coming from Danny's room. It was coming from my window. I live on the third floor. There shouldn't be anything outside my window, but the scratching was real. I didn't dare look. Instead, I grabbed my phone and texted Danny. "What the hell is going on?" He replied almost instantly, "Don't move. Don't make a sound." I froze, my heart pounding. The scratching continued for a few more minutes before stopping abruptly. I didn't sleep that night. The next morning, Danny was in the living room, surrounded by candles and strange symbols drawn on the floor. A thick, sulfuric smell hung in the air. "What the hell are you doing?" I shouted. Danny looked up at me with bloodshot eyes. "Keeping it away." "Keeping what away?" Danny didn't answer. Instead, he pointed to the closet. "Stay out of my room," he said. "It's almost over." The following day, Danny was gone. His room was completely empty, as if he'd never lived there. The only thing he left behind was a small notebook on the kitchen table. Curious, I opened it. The pages were filled with frantic scribbles about the Watcher and how it had chosen him. Danny believed he could summon and control it by offering gifts and performing rituals. The last entry sent a chill down my spine. "It's still hungry." I moved out a week later. For a while, everything was fine. Then one night I came home to find a package on my doorstep. It had no return address. Inside was a small box and a note that read, "Feed it or it will feed on you." When I opened the box, I found Snickers' collar covered in dried blood. I've moved 3 times since then, but no matter where I go, I still hear scratching at my window late at night. Whatever Danny summoned, I think it's following me now.